Hello and welcome back to the Cheltenham Festival. Day 3 already started with the first race, the Turners. We've got underway with a winner, which is rare this week. But we're going to now move into the second race of Day 3, and this is the Pertemps Network Final. We'll go through the list of the runners. I'll just read out the non-runners first. We've got two here. Springwell Bay and Judicial Law will not run. But there was overnight two reserves. What is the point in not putting them in as well? So now we've got the field down to 22. Number 1, Farouk Dalin. Number 3, Flight Deck. Number 4, Chantry House. Number 5, Bold Endeavour. Number 6, Lamilos or Milos. Number 7, Iker Alen. Number 8, Goel Road. Number 9, Anna Bernina. Number 10, Mill Green. Number 11, Cleatus Pulor. Number 12, Cuthbert Dibble. Number 13, Prairie Dancer. Number 14, Monmiral. Number 15, Emitom. Number 16, Goath Shuil. 17, Highland. 18, Hector Javalex. Number 19, Gabby's Cross. Number 21, Popova. Number 22, Kintara. Number 23, Alpesh Amin. And number 24, Noble Birth, and they're all going to post. So the first thing we're going to do is go into the spreadsheet and have a look at our runners. I've updated all that, so we're down to the 22. Our top selection for this race is Lamilos or Milos, whatever you prefer. So we're going to go into Betfair and have a look at the prices, and we've got a lot to look through. So our first selection here, Lamilos, is showing at 9.2. I just want to have a look at the over-round figure here of 102.6, now 103. With 22 runners, you most probably are not going to get this down to 101. And just looking there again, as I said to you, J. Freud and White Rhino were the reserves here, and why they haven't replaced Judicial Law and Springwell Bay, I just can't fathom it out. Right, so Lamilos now trading at 9, and that's our first selection. So the stakes here would be £11 11 pence, which would return £100, and that's our first selection, Lamilos. Our second selection here would be Gaelorth Shuil, and I'm sure it looks Welsh or Gaelic or something, that I'm not pronouncing that anywhere near where it should be pronounced. That's trading at 9.4 currently, and our stake here would require £10.64 to return £100. Our third selection would be Prairie Dancer. And Prairie Dancer, trying hard to find some of this. Oh, it's right down the bottom. And that's currently trading at 85. And a stake of £1 18 pence would return £100. Then we have Iker Alen. And again, with all these runners, you have to find them. Right, that's second in joint at the moment at 9. And again, the stakes here would be £11 and 11 pence for Iker Alen to return £100. And just adding the totals up so far there, we've staked £34 and 4 pence. We still have around £16 to play with. Our fifth selection will be Highland. Now, Highland Nicky de Boinville, and right down the bottom here, and that's trading at 65, which means the stakes would be £1.54 to return £100. And number 6 would be Bold Endeavour, and that's right down the bottom as well, and this is trading at 130, which means a stake of 77 pence would be needed on that one to return £100. Our 7th selection would be Gabby's Cross. And Gabby's Cross currently 14. And that would require a stake of £7.14 to return £100. So we'll just add up the totals again. We've got £6.51 left to stake, and our 8th selection would be Mill Green. And Mill Green, right down the bottom, this is another big outsider at 80. So you would require £1.25 on this horse to return you £100. Our 9th selection, maybe I've got a bit of a wrong horse here somewhere, but that's Springwell Bay, and I'm sure that is one of our non-runners. Yes, it is. So our 9th selection would be Gowell Road. And Gowell Road is currently trading at 30 at the moment, and this would require a stake of £3.33 to return £100. And that leaves us £1.93 left, and our next selection here would be Cuthbert Dibble. And Cuthbert Dibble is trading at 7.6 favourite. So not a lot to put on this one, but the odd £1.93 will go on Cuthbert Dibble. And the calculator will tell us there that 1.93 or £1.93 times the 7.6 starting price will return us £14. So it's better than nothing. So you've got £14 to come back there. And the main selections that we've got to return £100 are Goel Road, Mill Green, Gabby's Cross, Bold Endeavour, Highland, Iker Elen, Prairie Dancer, Gayoth Chuil, and La Milos. So they're down at the start. There's only a couple of minutes to go before the off. Good luck to whatever you backed for this race. Big field of 22. And I would be interested to find out what selection that I've taken out here instead of Springwell Bay. But I'll have to go through that after the race now. And after this race, we will be back for the 250, which will be the big race there, the Ryanair Chase. 11 go to post. So we'll be back for that after this one. Let's go and join the ITV team for race 2.
At the moment, who are getting their girths checked, but this is really interesting. It just goes to show you these races are so competitive, and people already locking in their positions. Look at Sam Twiston-Davis on the favourite, right down the inside.
On the exchanges, Gal Road is being backed at big prices, 55s into 28. Kintara being backed at a big price as well. Strong towards the top of the market, Cuthbert Dibble and the bang-in-form Skelton combination, featuring Nicholls. Just a quick note from me, Margaret Hughes is watching at home, celebrating her 90th birthday. Her granddaughter Emma came up to me saying she's glued to the Pertemps. Good luck, whatever she's on here. Happy birthday, Margaret.
Yeah, the Nicky Henderson horses obviously are drifting because of the form the yard is in, but the one I thought that had a squeak if they were healthy was Chantry House. He ran in the qualifier in Huntington. He was a much more prolific chaser than he's ever been a hurdler, but look, he has cheek blinkers on today. He wore cheek pieces on this occasion and he was eye-catching all the way. What I particularly thought was eye-catching was James Bowen when he jumped the last hurdle. Watch him when he jumps here and he has a little look around to see what's going on, because to run in this race you have to finish in the first 4 in a qualifier, and funnily enough this fella at Huntington managed to finish 4th, and he's gone to a huge price now at 25 to 1.
Yes, Chantry House 25 to 1. A race JP loves winning, of course. Landed a right touch with Danny Connors many years ago, but it appears the money's on I Carry Allen at 7 to 1, and not Chantry House, who's now a pony, 25 to 1.
Interesting that Gal Road's been backed here. Nigel Twiston-Davies with a strong hand. I used to love Trumpton. Cuthbert Dibble, the favourite here, Luke.
Yeah, he's going to be ridden positively right down the inside. He's won 4 of his 7 starts. His latest run was at Haydock. He won at Chepstow as well. He stays really well, and he'll like the ground, I think, a bit softer. I didn't think I'd say that a couple of days ago.
What about JP's hand here?
Yeah, Acker Allen was 4th in a triumph. Eddie Ramal got with Hurley, qualified obviously. He hasn't ran since. Hopefully he's got a good chance.
So, full start, I think. Full start being waved. I can hear Mick shouting, no. Mick, you were doing your starter impression there. It's just off the bend, isn't it? And it's difficult. Those at the back haven't straightened. Those at the front want to go.
Well, look, the trouble is they were heading towards Will, the starter, at a rate of knots, and I think he felt he had no option but to wave his flag and stop them. They were galloping at him. They set off from some way away, and I think now it'll be a simple case of whether they have them standing or whether they give them another chance.
There's the favourite. That was a bit of a mess, that. Cuthbert Dibble. Meg, you fancy one at a price here, don't you?
Well, I just thought, looking at a bit of each way value, maybe Emitom, who's been revived since joining Alan King, and he won well at Newbury last time, beating an informed Kintara, who also runs here. But I just think he looked really well. He was bucking and going when he was going around the parade ring, and I just thought 25 to 1 or whatever he was a massive price.
They were strewn all over the track a minute ago. Are they back in order there, Richard?
Sort of. A lot of shouting going on. But this time they're starting when they're already in the straight, so that will make it a bit easier. Broadside on his Noble Birth. He's now facing the wrong way, right at the head of affairs. This looks slightly better. There seems to be this shouts of no from someone I can hear. They're off and racing, and they've got away actually to a reasonable start. Nicholls, and Milk Green was one that just had to be rousted along. He seemed to be the one that was most put off by what went on before. A bit of a dash early on. Prairie Dancers up there with Bold Endeavour and Kintara towards the outside. And then Farouk Delaine with the White Face and Gowel Road as they rise at flight number 1. They are all over it. Pop Over is at the back of the pack. So up front, Bold Endeavour and Prairie Dancer are going helter-skelter early on. Kintara is 3rd with Flight Deck towards the outside as they take flight number 2. The jumping comes in the early stages on the new course. 4th place for Kintara. Flight Deck's out wider. They're being followed by Gowel Road and stable companion Cuthbert Dibble with Hector Javalex as they rise at the next. As they took that 3rd flight of hurdles, Cletus Poulor in the first Gigginstown colours is midfield with Highland, who is racing on the outside of Ikare Alen. First McManus colours with the white cap. Emitom comes next. Then Gabby's Cross towards the inside in company with Chantry House. Towards the inner is Noble Birth and the outside Monmiral. Mill Green already just being chased along. Hasn't warmed to the task as yet with Anna Bonina, and still towards the back at this stage Alpesh Armin as we reach flight number 4 in company with Popover, and they do just that, all of them to the other side safely. So now the Fizz just gone out of their steps slightly, as out in the lead Kintara races on the outside of Prairie Dancer with Flight Deck back in 3rd place, and then behind these in 4th is Farouk Delaine as they make the turn. Hector Javalex races on the outside of Cuthbert Dibble as they take that turn and continue their progress, now being brought back towards the next 2 flights of hurdles which are taken on the descent. Bold Endeavour, having been prominent early, is drifted back to midfield in company with Highland. Cletus Poulor's in that group as well with Ikare Alen and Emitom. Gabby's Cross on the inside of Chantry Chantry House, and Lamilos in the orange cap, 2/3 of the way back through the field, with Monmiral, Mill Green just beginning to wake up slightly and still towards the back of the pack. Al Pesharmin with stable companion Noble Birth Popover, and also Anna Benina. So these are where we have the long runs between the relative flights of hurdles. They're arriving at the 5th flight now, and they're all over to the other side safely again. Once again, this long run left-hand turn before they encounter the last in a circuit's time. So Prairie Dancer and Kintara settling down into a rhythm, with Flight Deck on the outside, and then in 4th place Farouk Delaine just ahead of Cuthbert Dibble, who's in 5th. Hector Jabalix in the stripes from Highland on the inside of Bold Endeavour. Cletus Poulor's in that little group as well, with Ikaria Len. They're being followed through by Emitom Lamilos, who races on the outside of Gabby's Cross in company with Chantry House Mill Green. Then towards the outside, Gateway Cool, who's towards the back at the moment. On the outside, dark blue with the green hoops on the sleeves, with Monmiral, Anna Benina. Then Noble Birth with Al Pesharmin as they approach flight number 6. Watching them all over, and they are all to the other side safely as they head out on their final circuit. So at the halfway stage of this Pertemps Network final, Kintara racing on the outside of Prairie Dancer. In 3rd place is Flight Deck, who races disputing that position with Farouk Delaine and Cuthbert Dibble towards the inside. Highland travels okay, racing in about 6th or 7th with Hector Javalex, and then on their inside is Gowell Road. Turning away Cletus Poulor in about 9th or 10th with Bold Endeavour Emitom. The McManus pair Ikari Allen in company with Chantry House. Monmiral and Lamilos come next, head of Gabby's Cross, Gway Cool, Mill Green, Anna Benina, and then towards the back Al Pesharmin is last of all with Popover and Noble Birth. So again, 3 rat-a-tat flights of hurdles on this side of the racecourse as it just begins to hot up front. Out in the lead, Kintara. Flight Deck's now on the premises. Prairie Dancer still there, Bold Endeavour moving back up on the outside with Hector Javales, then Farouk Delaine. Towards the inside then is Cuthbert Dibble as they take the middle one of these 3 flights, moving away from the stands. Ikari Allen's just dropped off the place a little bit towards the inside, towards the back of the field as they reach the next flight of hurdles. Flight Deck is a new leader over flight number 9, has the advantage from on the outside Bold Endeavour. Kintara still there. 4th place for Farouk Delaine, racing on the outer of Prairie Dancer, who's losing ground. Cuthbert Dibble and Hector Javalex round the outside. Cletus Poulor with Emitom. Highland in the next wave with Gowell Road. Behind these is Monmiral, who's making some ground. Ikari Allen picking places back up again. Gabby's Cross from the back has made a couple of places, then Gway Cool. Mill Green now being pushed along as they take the next flight of hurdles, which is 3 from the finish, at which Prairie Dancer, who was weakening, made a mistake, and still the back marker is Al Pesharmin. So now this long run to the second last in the Pertemps final. Kintara on the outside of the pushed along Flight Deck. Bold Endeavour is 3rd. Cletus Poulor pushed along now behind the leaders, with Cuthbert Dibble moving through into 4th place. Then behind these Farouk Delaine. On the inside, Highland still travels okay. Lamilos is creeping into it. Emitom comes next, and then behind these towards the outside, Gway Cool a long way back now. Gway Cool right towards the rear of the field at this stage as they make the journey down towards the second last. Kintara in the yellow colours, Flight Deck, Hector Javalex in the stripes and Bold Endeavour. Emitom from Cletus Poulor trying to get involved. Monmiral, also Lamilos picking the way through the field with Highland next as they approach the second last. Popover trying to get involved from an absolute mile back. Ikari Allen made a bad mistake then, went worse than midfield. They're around the home bend. It's Kintara with Hector Javalex coming there strongly for Lily Pinchin. Bold Endeavour is 3rd. Cuthbert Dibble, Cletus Poulor. Highland comes next. Monmiral trying to cut through the field in the yellow colours. Behind these, Anna Benina is trying to stay on. Kintara towards the right-hand side tries to make the getaway on the approach to the last. Bold Endeavour, Hector Javalex, Cuthbert Dibble coming after the leaders. Anna Benina still stays on from a long way back and trying to get involved as well is Emitom with Gowell Road and Popover down towards the last. Kintara for Charlie Deutsch. Monmiral in the yellow colours coming through the challenge on the near side with Bold Endeavour and Cuthbert Dibble. Kintara then over the last. In second, Monmiral, Harry Cobden for Paul Nicholls as they drive up the hill. Out in the lead, driven Kintara. Monmiral's got to within a neck and is now moving through, and Monmiral on the run to the line will win the Pertemps. Monmiral beat in second Kintara. Cuthbert Dibble, Bold Endeavour, Everton, Gowell Road, Anna Benina, Popover, and then Cletus Poulor. Hector Javalex was next behind those. Al Pesharmin, Chantry House, Lamilos, Mill Green, and then Highland and Gabby's Cross, one of the last to finish. 25 to 1, Monmiral. Harry Cobden gets his winner after his second in the opener. Kintara, you've got a feel for Kintara. In front a long time, that hill must have seemed to last forever. 3rd for Cuthbert Dibble, I think, will get those the spoils for 3rd. But success there for Monmiral. Let's fill out the places because a few bookmakers will be paying extra ones. So, first past the post, Monmiral. Second, Kintara. Third, Cuthbert Dibble. Fourth place for Bold Endeavour. Nicky Henderson, a horse that ran well. Fifth, Pertemps. Sixth for Gal Road. May just roll on for seventh, just in case. That's Anna Bonina ahead of Popover. 25 to 1, our biggest winner of the week so far. And Paul Nicholls is on the board.
Right. Well, I hope some of you had that one. 25 to 1 winner. Monmiral. So let's get back, see what it paid out. 32.6 on Betfair, that was. Yeah, and it wasn't one for me. I had that way down. I think the best I did there was Bold Endeavour. And that was fourth, but I did get 130 on that. So that's the second race all finished. That was the Pertemps Network. And we'll be back for the third race for the Ryanair. So we'll catch up shortly.